Hey guys, welcome back to another pre-recorded tutorial. The votes for this week were so close that we decided to go ahead and upload a tutorial of a 3-strand twist. So right now I am detangling the hair using, of course, the Felicia Leatherwood detangler brush. You can get this online at beautyanthology.com or neonib.com. And this brush is for all hair types. You want to make sure that the hair is properly detangled before starting any style. It's going to make it so much easier to maneuver through the hair. Now I'm using the rat tail end of my comb to map out my part. I'm going to take the comb and just clean up the part a little bit. Remember, your parts don't have to be perfect because we're going to fluff the root so no one will see the parts anyway. And so if you wanted to make your twist smaller, you could. It's really depending on your personal preference. I decided that this size was good for what we were doing, for the size that I wanted to go for, and we were still going to get great definition. Now I'm starting with the Allocate Naturals Lemongrass Styling Mousse. You know this is one of my favorite mousses. I love using mousse for twist outs and rod sets because it gives you that flexible hold and it dries fast. And so now I'm going through with the brush and smoothing the product from root to tip. Then we're going to split the hair into 3 sections, hence 3-strand twist. And we're going to take the section that is furthest left and bring it all the way to the right, over. So you're bringing the furthest left section all the way to the right, which means it's skipping 2 sections. Left all the way right, left all the way right, and you're going to continue to do this. And it has to stay consistent from top to bottom, meaning you cannot start a twist with the left all the way to the right and then decide to do the right all the way to the left halfway through the twist. You have to decide from the beginning of the twist which direction you're twisting in. And you can twist in either direction. I'm right-handed, so it's easier for me to hold the 2 strands and keep them separate with my right hand, and then use my left hand to rotate the left section over. And so you continue this all the way down to the ends. And if one of your sections starts to get thin or shorter, do not borrow hair from another section. My advice would be to either continue the twist as a 2-strand twist all the way down, or to use a rod, a small rod preferably, because it'll mimic the curl pattern a little bit better on the very ends. And you can do that as well if you're transitioning, whether it be from relaxed hair or heat damaged hair. So we adjusted the camera and lifted Adrian's head up a little bit so we could see a little bit better, but don't worry, we've got more twists to do, and I'm going to let the video play so that you can see how to install the rest. Right now I'm just finishing up the ends of her hair. Remember, you've got to keep those 3 sections separate. You do not want them blended together. That starts to create frizz, so we keep them separate. We keep moving it over. Sometimes I add a little bit of product on the end, and then I twirl the ends around my finger just for a little curl memory. And there we have it. We finished our first twist. Moving on to the next twist. I am going to unclip the hair. I'm going to section it. This section can be split into 2, so I went ahead and did that. Clipping the section I'm not using out of the way. You don't want that to accidentally get into our twist. And it's the worst when it happens. It happens to the best of us. It happens to me, and all I do is take it down and try again. Again, we're applying our styling mousse from root to tip. We're going to come back with the brush and smooth it in. Root to tip. And that's because the hair is already detangled. Right now, we are helping with the stretching process, making sure the product is in root to tip. When you detangle, though, you start from the ends and work your way towards the root. So I want you to get a closer look at the start of the twist. You want to make sure that you have a good grip on all 3 sections so that you don't have to pull necessarily to make the twist tighter. You're going to again take that section that is farthest left and bring it all the way right. And your job with your other hand is basically just to keep the other two sections separate. And the pieces are rotating, but it's always the piece farthest left, bringing it all the way over to the right. Or if you're doing it from the other side, the piece that is farthest right and bringing it all the way over to the left, meaning this piece of hair should be skipping over two pieces of hair. You can see there, left all the way right, left all the way right, left all the way right. And again, you do this all the way to the end. And we're at the end. As soon as one of those pieces runs out just about, I'll start a 2-strand twist. And again, you can always stop and just add rods to the end, small rods preferably. Twist it around, and I did add more product there. Just a little curl memory. It's going to start to shrink, and it's just going to have a really pretty finish. Okay, and so now we're going to move on to our last twist. If you watch the rod set video, you know that we sectioned Adrian's hair off into 4 sections, and we did a different curl on each section using a different technique. So the first section is what you see today, which was the 3-strand twist. The section right next to it, we did somewhat of a flexi rod set that is recorded. We will post it soon. And then the back section was rod sets, and we just wrapped it 2 different ways. And so we posted the traditional way, and I'll upload the other way at a later date. And so we followed the same exact steps for this last section. 3 pieces, because it's a 3-strand twist. That piece far left comes over all the way right. The piece on the left over all the way right. And I had to get my hands closer to the scalp. Now remember, the closer your hands are to the scalp, the tighter the twist will be without you having to pull. Same thing goes for braids. So we want to start close so that we don't have to continuously like yank the hair trying to make the twist tighter, because that's a no-no. And so we'll continue and see. I promise as the rhythm picks up, you'll be able to speed through these twists. You can see I'm using my fingers to kind of keep the pieces separate as I rotate that left piece around. And there's a slight pull. You don't have to pull too bad. Like, you should not be down here and pulling and your twist going all the way back up to the top. You just want to keep a good grip on it. You can see I lost my grip a little bit of the way, and that's fine. And then we twirl, and that was our last twist. These are some really juicy twists. Adrian's hair is type 3. That doesn't mean that other types can't get this. I do this on my hair all the time. We actually did a Instagram short tutorial. But we are complete with this section. And now we're going to get to see the results. But first, Adrian has to go under the dryer because I like to set my styles with heat. And sitting under the dryer is not the same as blow drying your hair, and blow drying your hair is not the same as pressing or flat ironing your hair. So Adrian is back from the dryer. Her hair is completely dry. You can see we finished her whole head with the different techniques. And again, they're going to get uploaded. No worries. Now we're unraveling the twist. And so you want to make sure that you are unraveling so that the 3 sections are now separated again. You don't want to break those down just yet. I usually wait until I have unraveled everything so I can see where I want to break it down. Because sometimes we don't need to. And we create, a huge frizz mess. And so let's break it down to its 3 parts first, and then we'll go back through. And it was only 3 twists, so that was easy. And so now we're going to break it down again where it naturally breaks. You never want to force a split. Forcing splits just adds frizz. Which, by the way, I do have oil on my hands. It's the Alikay Naturals finishing spray from the lemongrass collection. You always want to have oil in your hands when you are breaking down a twist out, braid out, rod sets. This also helps minimize frizz. And you'll see me twirling my hands around the twist. This is just to remind it the direction it needs to go in after I have split it. And we can already see the volume coming in on the split. I'm going to continue going, and then we're going to get even more volume when we pick it out, which is coming up. We are almost done here. I'm adding a little bit more oil. My hands were starting to get a little dry, and we don't want friction because friction brings frizz, which takes away from the longevity of our style. And so I'm done separating. Now I'm going to go through and fluff. This just adds a little height, which adds volume. I'm going to just go ahead and fluff the rest of her hair too, since we just took down these as well. Look, that side is so pretty. I cannot wait to show you guys how we got those curls using the same product. And sometimes after you fluff, you go, you know what? I think I need to split this one. And that's the beauty of doing your own hair, because you can decide to do that, or you can leave it as is and do it another day, or it'll naturally fluff out anyway as the days go on. Preferences. And so I'm going through trying to get a feel of each curl, seeing what needs to be split, what needs to go in a different direction. I'm finishing it off with the Alikay Naturals Lemongrass Finishing Spray. This adds some shine. I love this one because it's like a spray oil versus an oil sheen in an aerosol can. Now I'm just trying to get every curl within its section. See, I found one back there that I felt like I could break down, so I'm breaking it down. I know that has nothing to do with the 3-strand twist, but this is what we do. Even if it was all twists, all rods, all braids, we go through and make sure everything is just right. And now I'm going to finish out fluffing. Remember, when you fluff, using a pick is probably the best option, and you want to make sure that you don't bring the pick all the way through the hair, because you want to keep the definition. You're really just fluffing out the roots. And there you have it. This is our results. Thank you so much for joining. I hope this was helpful. I hope that these results show you the difference between a 3-strand versus a 2-strand. One is a curl, the other is more of a wave-ish. And so I like both. It's really a preference, but 3-strand twists are just so much fun. But thanks again for joining, and stay tuned till our next video.